All right, everybody, let's break down what do the 49ers need to do this offseason in order to get over the hump. They have 3 fourth-round picks, a first, second, and a third. They have 7 picks overall in the draft. They also have $25 million in cap space to work with. And the more I look at this 49ers depth chart, the more I look at their roster, there's not a lot of holes. This defense was just injured. Like, the defense is good with the players that they can put on the field. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Mykel Williams, Bryce Huff as a situational pass rusher, Renardo Green, Diamador Lenore. These aren't elite corners, but they're very serviceable. The Jets did see a little bit dip in cornerback production after Bob Saleh got out of there. That is worth noting, especially in the second half of that 24 season. But either way, I think this Niners defense is in a pretty good spot. They could add a Joey Bosa, pair him up with his brother, get some more edge rusher depth, or sign an interior defensive lineman as well so they can be better against the run. But I think this defense as a whole is relatively good. And then offensively, they have one of the best O-lines in football. I'm not quite sure what their interior guard situation looks like outside of Pooney. But there's plenty of guards they could get in free agency this year, whether it's Zeitler, Wyatt Teller, Isaac Samalu, who was elite this year for the Steelers and is hitting free agency, older veteran guards that can play as a stopgap for a year or two, but I'm not sure what their guard situation is like. Mikovits and Trent Williams is one of the best tackle tandems in the NFL. Their center is Hendel or whatever his name is. He's a fossil, but he's still giving you productive, slightly above league average production at the center position. Brock Purdy's a good player. CMC Kittle. They're losing Juwan Jennings. They're losing Kendrick Bourne. Ricky Pearsall is good enough. I think Ricky Pearsall is good enough to be a wide receiver one. Not probably an elite option, but I think he'll give you 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns, 110 catches. Re-sign Kendrick Bourne or take a swing at Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce on this Niners offense would be elite, but that would really tie your hands up with what you can do financially this year if you take a big swing at Alec Pierce. But I think the Niners are in a really good spot this offseason. Draft some CB depth, draft some offensive guard depth, maybe an interior defensive lineman as well. Bring in a Bosa or an Alec Pierce. They have plenty of things they can do on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but they don't really need to make a big swing. Losing Juwan Jennings and Kendrick Bourne would stink. Their wide receiver 2 would be Sky Moore, Demarcus Robinson. That's not ideal. They need to address that in free agency. But even if they don't take a swing at a guy like Alec Pierce, you can get a veteran like Christian Kirk or Hollywood Brown, or maybe take a flyer on a Traylon Burks, who's only 25 years old still. Like, there's still receivers they can get. I think Kendrick Bourne would be just an ideal. Bring him back. He can produce as a wide receiver too. He had some monster games with Mac Jones this season, and they can trade Mac Jones and probably get some pretty good compensation for him as well. So keep an eye on Mac Jones' status. So I think the Niners are in a very good spot. Offensively, they are losing Spencer Buford, who is listed as he's listed as a tackle, but he's also was listed as their starting left guard in free agent or on their depth chart on ESPN. So again, I'm not sure what their guard position is like, but there are really good veteran guards on the market that they can address if they need a guard, if they need to address the guard situation. So I think they'll be fine. The 49ers offense, if they sign Alec Pierce, which I think they should take a swing at Alec Pierce, would be disgusting. Alec Pierce, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, top 10 offensive line, Trent Williams, Colton Mikovits. That's disgusting. And I think Alec Pierce could be a legitimate top 10 receiver in this league if he's in the right situation. Now, if he was in San Francisco, he probably wouldn't have that same production because Ricky Pearsall's still there. He's a really good receiver in his own right. But that offense would be a top 5 offense in the league. It's already a top 5 offense in the league when they're healthy. You add Alec Pierce. I think Alec Pierce is an upgrade over Juwan Jennings, even though Spotrac has Juwan Jennings' market value as slightly higher on a per-year basis. I think that's bogus. I'm taking Alec Pierce over Juwan Jennings 10 times out of 10, and he's a little bit younger. Throw him with Ricky. CMC Kittle, top 10 line in football. Brock Purdy. That'd be nasty. I think the Niners should really take a swing at Alec Pierce. I really do think so. But again, I'm very bullish on Pierce. If you listen to yesterday's episode, you know how I feel about him. But if they don't go Alec Pierce, like I said, veteran receiver, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Jalen Naylor, flyer on Traylon Burks, or Calvin Austin, just another pass catcher that's not Sky Moore or Demarcus Robinson. And I think Kendrick Bourne, if they don't go Alec Pierce, would be the best option out of these free agent guys. Bring him back. He knows the offense. He has a rapport with the quarterbacks, and he's been in the locker room before. And so it's better to bring a guy that's familiar than bringing bringing in an outside source who I think isn't better than him other than Hollywood and Christian Kirk. So I think that's a good plan there if they don't go Alec Pierce, but I think they really should. Defensively, though, like I said, pretty good spot, man. They were just injured last year. Bosa, Warner, Michael Williams, their rookie. I think they took him 8th overall out of Georgia last year. He's a really good player. They could use another corner. I think Diamador Lenore has gotten slightly overrated over the past few weeks. He's a good corner. He's a good CB1, slightly above league average. Nothing crazy. Renardo Green is also a really good, they have an average CB duo that you can get by with, but adding a guy like a Jalen Watson or an Alontae Taylor or a Greg Newsome or get some size like a Tariq Woolen, because Renardo Green and Diamador, Lenore is 5'10", Renardo Green 6 foot, get a 6'4" Tariq Woolen in there. I think that could be a play. Bring in Nick Bosa, or Nick Bosa's brother, Joey Bosa, on a 1-year deal would be really fun. That's the constant rotation of Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Bryce Huff, Michael Williams would be disgusting. Who are their interior defensive linemen? Alfred Collins and Kala Davis. That should probably be an area that they address, is their interior defensive linemen. Let's see what type of defensive tackles are hitting free agency here. All right, we're not going to work here. All right, Spotrack's just not working. Nice, man. Figure it out. Oh, because that's the Niners. Okay, I'm an idiot. My bad. Hand up. Bad podcasting here. Bad podcasting. Jalen Phillips, but he's an edge guy. Calais Campbell on a 1-year deal. David Onyemata. Dude, the Falcons can't let David Onyemata walk. John Franklin Myers, Sheldon Rankins. There's guys they can address for sure on the interior defensive line market. 100%. So there's plays to be made here for the 49ers. I think they're going to be just fine if they don't spend any money. Keep continuing to build through the draft, maybe fill in some depth pieces on the offensive and defensive line through free agency, build through the draft, and I think they'll be contending next year anyway. They were in the NFC, they were in the divisional round without Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. Kittle got hurt in that game. They're going to be just fine. So I think the Niners are in a really good spot. They do have 7 picks, first, second, third, 3/4 to make something happen. Those 4th rounders are huge too, because if there's a guy they like that's fallen into the late second, early third, they can use those 4ths or a mid-third to move up and get a guy that they really like. So I think they're in a really good spot. That's what I would do if I'm the Niners. Take a swing at Alec Pierce. Don't overpay. Get a John Franklin Myers in free agency or a David Onyemata in free agency to shore up that interior defensive line. Make a swing at a Alontae Taylor or another veteran corner or a Tariq Woolen, a corner with some size. Re-sign Kendrick Bourne if you don't get Alec Pierce. Move from there. And I think they're in a good spot if they don't spend anything. They do need a wide receiver too. They do, objectively. So that's the one thing they need. They can't just roll out Ricky Pearsall and Sky Moore, or Ricky Pearsall and Demarcus Robinson, or Ricky Pearsall and Jordan Watkins. They need a wide receiver too. And they're losing Juwan and Kendrick in free agency. I wouldn't re-sign Juwan Jennings because he's valued more than Alec Pierce right now. I'd rather have Alec Pierce than Juwan Jennings 10 times out of 10. So yeah, that's what I do if I'm the Niners. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so you don't miss when I do your favorite team. I'm doing all 32 NFL teams to see what their offseason outlook would be before free agency starts. Make sure you subscribe and like